Coming up about news this morning, the deadline quickly approaches for Kentucky schools to hire resource officers, and Governor Andy Beshear announces some major funding in order to help improve early childhood education.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Almost 6 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning. Good morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Hope y'all are doing A-OK. Let's take it over to Brandon this morning, who I know is doing A-OK this morning. Well, not so much yesterday afternoon, but
I'm out. I gotta
yeah,
do some more.
yeah. But you did some yard work yesterday, and you told me that you were absolutely exhausted. But also, you know, you have health concerns as well, so that sort of played a role. But
yeah,
it wasn't that hot yesterday.
It was not, and that's the reason I decided to do it yesterday. My mother-in-law, who typically does it, had a dentist appointment. I said, you know what? I'm gonna surprise her. We're gonna get this done. I usually help, but I usually don't do the whole thing. But yesterday, it was a lot. So again, we're going to be seeing temperatures much warmer for that. So if you're going to do anything outside today, do it early or late. Let's take a look, see what's going on this morning across the region. I-75 at Corbin, not looking too bad as the sun starts working its way into the sky. 51 now, Irvin, 54 Clintwood, 55 Hazard, 58 London, 57 Somerset, 56 in Prestonsburg, 61 in Jackson, and 59 in Logan this morning. Dew points still relatively comfortable out there, so not a bad start to the day. I don't think it's going to be a bad day overall. I think we're going to be in the hotter range there with the temperatures. 87 the forecast high, averages 85, nowhere near the records. It came back to me after we started talking about these records yesterday how hot 2012 was. I was working, I believe Jim Caldwell was off for something that week, and it was just so hot. It was record-breaking heat all week long back in 2012. 104 was the record set back this day 10 years ago today. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. We're learning more about the process behind the American Civil Liberties Union's lawsuit to block Kentucky's abortion ban. Court records show that the ACLU's motion does not require a hearing. We're waiting on the judge's decision. This challenges the state's trigger law that immediately banned abortions. The ACLU says the ban is unconstitutional because it violates the rights to privacy and bodily autonomy. Attorney General Daniel Cameron released a statement Monday saying, quote, "There's no right to abortion contained in the Commonwealth's Constitution," end quote. Well, a Hazard attorney says she is offering free legal services to those impacted by the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade. We talked with her about the reason why. Attorney Michelle Lawson says she felt overwhelmed when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade on Friday.
I think my gut has not unclenched since I heard the news Friday, and I wanted to be able to do something to help people.
In a viral tweet receiving more than 12,000 retweets, Lawson said she is offering pro bono services to women in Kentucky if they get an abortion, and also to the providers who perform them.
It ended up exploding into this viral tweet, and through that I've made connections to other attorneys across the state who wanted to provide the same services.
When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Kentucky's trigger law banned all abortions unless a pregnancy threatens the life of the mother. Under that law, a woman cannot be prosecuted for getting an abortion, but the doctor can.
I haven't had any women reach out about prosecution or anything like that, but I have had some survivors of violence reach out for some services, and I've been able to help them so far.
Kentucky's trigger law does not have protections for those who are victims of assault, incest, or rape.
I'm a survivor myself, and so it was very important to me to do something that I felt like I could help other women and anyone else, anyone in the LGBTQ+ community.
Lawson says she thinks we will see more about the trigger law play out in court. In Hazard, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News. Lawson says if you need help, you can call her office. To find her number, you can go to our website at WYMT.com. The Supreme Court's decision was met with strong and mixed reaction here in the U.S. and across the Commonwealth. One woman in Lexington is expressing her disappointment. She's a doula who provides support for pregnant women and has even driven those who wanted to terminate their pregnancies to Kentucky's only abortion clinic in Louisville before it closed.
That's something that nobody should go through alone. So I'm going to be the person to hold your hand, to listen to you cry.
After the ruling, she says all she can think about are her clients. With abortions now mostly banned in Kentucky, she's afraid women will look for other alternatives, ones that are unsafe and potentially life-threatening. A deadline is quickly approaching for Kentucky schools. Every Kentucky school campus needs to have a school resource officer by August 1st. It comes after lawmakers passed a school safety plan. Mercer County has had an opening for an SRO for more than a year, and there's not been one applicant. The superintendent says it is concerning with that August 1st deadline now just more than 1 month away.
I always tell people that I've heard from a lot of police officers that there's not enough action in schools for police officers.
School systems that do not meet the August 1st deadline are supposed to submit a detailed response as to why it wasn't met. Well, just last week, we told you officials with the Kentucky Association of School Resource Officers said they didn't think the state could meet the August 1st deadline. Well, they met in Richmond for a conference to discuss the challenges. They say they are working to address the funding and hiring concerns. Governor Andy Beshear announced $8 million in funding yesterday to support early childhood education. Our Keaton Hall talked with local health and education experts to see why early childhood development is so important.
Health officials and school leaders agree.
Early childhood development is the psychological, biological, and emotional foundation.
Young children benefit from a comfortable, nurturing environment. Scott Lockard with the Kentucky River District Health Department knows the importance of getting off to a good start.
Whenever they know that their survival needs are being met, then that gives the brain the opportunity to develop to its fullest extent. And we're going to have a child that's naturally curious, naturally exploring their environment.
Chris Rush, District Health Coordinator for Perry County Schools, says if children do not receive proper support, it can produce toxic stress, possibly leading to issues later in life.
It can lead to chronic disease, risky behavior, poor relationships. There's just a whole gamut of negative outcomes.
That's why, in part, Governor Beshear has just announced $8 million in funding towards developmental screeners for parents of children from birth to 3 years old.
By doing developmental screening, what this developmental screening does is we see where most children are at, what milestones are achieving, like with their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills, different areas that making sure that is age appropriate.
It's important children hit these milestones so they don't fall behind.
It's important, again, for parents to realize that just because a child needs additional support in an area doesn't mean you're a bad parent. You could be doing everything right as a parent, and we're all different. You know, all of our children are different, and we just want to make sure that children are getting the support they need.
The governor says these questionnaires are short, easy, and critical to help identify any potential delays. In Perry County, Keaton Hall, WYMT Mountain News.
The questionnaires will be available through various health and state agencies or online now through the Help Me Grow state government initiative. World Health Organization officials say the escalating monkeypox outbreak in more than 50 countries should be closely monitored but does not warrant being declared a global health emergency. It has confirmed more than 3,200 monkeypox infections in about 40 countries that have not previously reported the disease. The organization is creating a vaccine sharing mechanism for monkeypox, which could see vaccines go to rich countries like Britain, which currently has the biggest outbreak beyond Africa.
It's just like a traditional vaccine. It builds your immune system. It stimulates your immune system so you are better prepared to fight the monkeypox you are infected with. It basically how it works if you want to have it in layman terms. It works in the way that you can get it. You can use the vaccine before you are infected, but you can actually also use the vaccine in a way that you can be vaccinated if you believe you may be infected.
Monkeypox belongs to the same virus family as smallpox, but causes milder symptoms, including fever, body aches, chills, and fatigue. More serious cases may result in a rash and lesions. Scientists warn that anyone in close physical contact with someone infected with monkeypox or their clothing or bed sheets is at risk of catching the disease, regardless of their sexual orientation.
Coming up on 6:09, we are still tracking some patchy, dense fog across parts of the region, mainly in our northern counties, but we've seen it as far south as Pikeville this morning there, even though the airport sensor is still showing full visibility. Down to less than a mile in Ashland, 2.5 miles in Moorhead, anything less than 5 is some visibility issues as we head out the door this morning. We'll take a look at temperatures, 50s and 60s out there. The warmest spots are near the Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee borders there with some low to mid 60s. Actually, Jacksboro's at 66 now. They're actually going up a little bit. But in the northern counties, still in the mid to upper 50s there. Irvin's at 51, which is the cool spot in our region. And we've got 58 London, 56 Manchester, and 56 in Prestonsburg and Wayne this morning. 87 this afternoon, sunny and warmer. Dew points stay fairly low, so it will not be as humid. Soupy feelings, what I've been calling it. But as you see there, some like it hot. And it's going to be that way today, temperature-wise, and tomorrow, and then a soupy end to June, which is tomorrow. That's the last day of the month is tomorrow, and then a stormy holiday weekend just in time for the 4th of July. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you so much. It's almost 6:10 here. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, the Department of Justice takes a closer look at the police involvement during the deadly shooting at an elementary school in Texas.